Lionel Messi. You can't talk about football without talking about Messi. You just can't. Like, this man literally completed football the moment he lifted that World Cup in Qatar. That wasn't just a win. That was closure. It was every hateful tweet getting silenced in real time. It was watching the smallest guy on the pitch carry a nation on his back and still look like he was floating. 8 Ballon d'Ors, over 800 goals, and 40-plus trophies. And somehow he did it all without ever screaming for the spotlight. Whether it was humiliating defenders in La Liga or threading passes no one else even saw, Messi made football feel like art. Even now, in Miami with half the world watching just to see him jog, he's still him. The greatest to ever do it, Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano's story is like a superhero origin movie. This skinny kid from Madeira who was obsessed with outworking everyone. And I mean everyone. Dude was the first guy in the gym and the last one out. It's like he was built in a lab. Let me put it this way. If Messi's the artist, Ronaldo is the war machine. 800 plus goals, 5 Ballon d'Ors, 5 Champions Leagues, and Euros with Portugal, the man checked every box. And somehow, every single time people thought he was finished, he dropped a hat trick out of nowhere like, yeah, I'm still here. But beyond the numbers, it's the mindset that made him a phenomenon. The total tunnel vision. The abs, the celebration. Yeah, that too. The guy makes winning look sexy, and his fan base treats him like he's a god. Pelé. You know you're different when people just call you the king, and nobody questions it. That's Pelé. He wasn't just a footballer, he was the first global icon of the game. Way before social media, brand deals, and high-def cameras, this man was filling stadiums and scoring over 1,000 goals. He won 3 World Cups. Let that sink in. Not 1, 3. He made his debut in the tournament at 17 and still ended up becoming the face of Brazil's entire football identity. Look at these clips. Pelé didn't play like a guy from the 1950s. He was doing stuff we see in modern players today. Flicks, back heels, no-look passes, volleys, the whole package. Except he was doing it while getting attacked at every game by defenders trying to take his legs off. Pelé wasn't just a player, he was the blueprint, Diego Maradona. There's no one like Maradona. No one. You could clone his left foot, his low center of gravity, his street-level dribbling, but you'd still be missing the chaos, the passion, and the madness. Diego was football at its most raw. Remember that goal in '86, the solo run against England? That was a declaration of war. And this guy goes further to score the hand of God 2 minutes later, and smiles about it. Even the devil would be shocked. At Napoli, he became a saint. He took a club no one rated and made them kings of Italy. The city still worships him like a god. Not metaphorically, literally. There are actual murals and shrines dedicated to him. He wasn't perfect, far from it. He had demons, drugs, controversies, and breakdowns. But when that ball was at his feet, nothing else mattered. Ronaldinho. There was a point, like the mid-2000s, where Ronaldinho was football's main character, and he humiliated players in his prime. This dude would nutmeg you, make a no-look pass to his striker, then do a samba shimmy just because he felt like it. You could argue there have been better players, sure, but no one made the game look as fun as Ronaldinho did, and that joy was contagious. You could feel it through the screen. Kids in Brazil, Europe, Africa, and Asia, everyone copied his moves. Even defenders were smiling while he embarrassed them. That's crazy. He won everything. Ballon d'Or, World Cup, Champions League, but his real legacy was his aura. It was the way people talked about him. It wasn't, he scored 20 goals that season. It was, did you see what he did to that guy? He made the pitch his playground, and for a few years we all just sat back and watched the magic happen. Zinedine Zidane. Most people's first memory of Zidane is that headbutt in the 2006 World Cup final. And yeah, that moment is infamous, but it also kind of sums up who Zidane was. The man was elegant as hell for 89 minutes, but had fire in his veins for the 90th. But go back and watch his play. It was like watching jazz in slow motion. He never looked rushed or flustered. He made everything look inevitable. And even after retiring, the man came back as a coach and casually won 3 straight Champions League titles with Madrid like it was nothing. Ronaldo Nazario, R9. If you didn't see R9 in his prime, pre-injury prime, man, you missed something unreal. This guy wasn't just fast, he was violent with the ball. He'd accelerate like a motorbike, leave 3 defenders on the floor, then casually round the keeper like it was FIFA on beginner mode. He made defenders look like traffic cones. At 21, he was already a Ballon d'Or winner. By 24, he had scored hundreds of goals, and his knees were already betraying him. But even after multiple surgeries, he came back and won the World Cup in 2002. Before there was Messi versus Ronaldo, there was just R9. Neymar Jr. Nobody has ever been expected to be the next Pelé and actually tried to be. Neymar carried Brazil's hopes before he could legally buy a drink. By the time he got to Barcelona, he was basically too good to be the third option behind Messi and Suarez. And honestly, he made that MSN trio one of the most terrifying attacks we've ever seen. And yeah, he's polarizing. Some people say he dives, some say he never lived up to his potential. But let's be honest, the pressure this guy has carried is insane. Beckham. If football had a rock star era, Beckham was the frontman. Everything about him screamed celebrity. The haircuts, the tattoos, the Spice Girl wife. Dude was football's first real brand. But here's the thing. Behind all that glitz, Beckham really could play. That right foot was a weapon. He played for Manchester United, Real Madrid, Milan, Paris Saint-Germain, and LA Galaxy. And he wasn't just showing up for photo ops. He was actually delivering consistently. Even in MLS, he changed the entire landscape of football in the US just by being there. What's wild is, for all his fame, he never let it distract him from the game. He trained like a machine, took criticism on the chin, made peace with being the guy who missed that penalty in '98, and came back even bigger. Kylian Mbappe doesn't play like a 26-year-old. He plays like someone who's already been here, done it, and is now running the game for fun. Bro won a World Cup at 19, and his pace is silly. Like cartoon character, blink and he's gone type of pace. But it's not just speed, he's calculated. In the 2022 final, when Messi looked like he had the storybook ending locked, Mbappe popped up with a hat trick in a World Cup final. That's absurd. What sets him apart is that hunger. It's not just about scoring, he wants the crown. He wants the Ballon d'Or, Champions Leagues, all of it. And now in Madrid, that story's just beginning. Thierry Henry. There was this effortless smoothness to everything Henry did, like he had the game on mute while everyone else was scrambling in chaos. He made the Premier League look too easy. And the crazy part was, he started as a winger that couldn't finish. Then Wenger unlocked the cheat code. And when he was on, forget it. Defenders just backed off. Because if you pressed him, he'd burn you. If you stood off, he'd bend one into the top corner like it was a warm-up drill. He scored 228 goals for Arsenal. Oh, and don't forget that World Cup with France when he was just a kid. Andrés Iniesta. Iniesta didn't talk much, and he didn't need to. The way he played said everything. He had this ghost-like ability to move through midfields unnoticed until, boom, he's in your box. He wasn't flashy or anything, but his first touch was maybe the cleanest in football history, and his passes were always a beat ahead of everyone else. You'd think he was quiet until you realized he was completely running the match. With Spain and Barcelona, he won everything. Multiple Champions Leagues, Euros, World Cup, Xavi Hernandez. Xavi was never the fastest, never the strongest. He didn't score screamers, but give him the ball, and the whole game bent to his tempo. He was football's metronome. Watching Xavi play was like watching chess in real time, because every pass had a purpose and every touch had a plan. At his peak with Barca and Spain, Xavi owned the midfield. Like, his possession stats in those days were ridiculous. I mean, 4 Champions Leagues, 2 Euros, and 1 World Cup. People talk about tiki-taka, but it was Xavi who kept it beating. Mohamed Salah. People love a dope comeback story, and Salah's living one. He was rejected at Chelsea, loaned out, forgotten by the big boys. Then he shows up at Liverpool and says, "All right, watch this." He came in and just destroyed everything. Is it how he scored 44 goals in his first season? Or that Premier League defenders were getting ridiculed every weekend? With that lightning left foot, the curlers, and the calm 1-versus-1 finishes, he turned it into a weekly highlight reel. But it's more than goals. Salah carries Egypt like it's personal. He's their guy. When he scored that penalty to send them to the World Cup in 2017, the whole country lit up. He's not just a Liverpool legend or Africa's pride. He's proof that getting written off is just fuel if you channel it properly. Roberto Carlos. There are goals, and then there's that free kick Roberto Carlos scored against France that defies physics. You know, the one where the ball started outside the stadium and somehow curled back in like it had a mind of its own. That's the kind of player he was, and somehow he was a left back playing like a winger. Dude had quads the size of small planets and a rocket launcher in his left foot. He made fullbacks cool. Before him, it was a thankless job. After him, kids wanted to be Roberto Carlos. And there it is, some of the best players football has ever seen. If you enjoyed this, drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know in the comments if you think there's a player who deserves to be on this list.